Hello, hello, hello. This is Royal Height, the music ambassador. Once again, welcome to the Royal Height of Music podcast. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I am really honored to have a guy who I've known for a while now. We've crossed paths at several intersections, but we've never really sat down and had the big powwow that we need to. Even though I know a little bit about him, I know there's just so much greatness in this man that I'm really delighted to have him for several different reasons. He's a renowned author. He's a renowned speaker. Now, I should put that at the top of the list. And he's doing a lot of positive things. He's also a vocalist, I understand, also, much like myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce a man that we share a lot of things in common, everything from podcasting to singing to even our mentor for speaking, Mr. Willie Jolly, who he also works with. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to introduce my friend, Sir Charles Cary. Charles, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm great, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, and you're looking absolutely awesome over there on your set there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, somebody didn't wake up today, and it was not us. So, to me, every day is a joy to behold and a reason to be grateful. Absolutely.
All right. Well, look, as we begin, like I said, we're going to dig right on in.
Okay.
I usually ask my guests if you would be kind enough just to share just a little bit of background of yourself, mainly so that we can kind of introduce people to you. I know a little bit about you, but I'd like you to just put on display some of your history, where you've come from and how you've arrived where you are right now.
I find it kind of amazing that so many of us, we come from either humble beginnings or broken homes or a combination of both. And, I'm no different. I was a substance abuser for a very long time, over 20 some odd years. I was a substance abuser. Crack cocaine was my best friend. And even though now I've been clean for 20 some odd years, I never forget where I came from. It wasn't always like that prior to the addiction, but that was a big part of me being molded and shaped to do the things that I do now. Music has always been a part of my family background. And, I grew up with desires and an interest in doing what the rest of the family did and doing the things that I saw on television and places like that, even though I didn't see people that looked like me a lot in certain venues. And at certain times I did, the Motown sound, Stax Records and things like that. And I really aspired to be like those people I saw on television until I got the opportunity. And again, like many of us, I grew up in church, sang with the choir, and then ensemble, and you get a solo, and it gets good to you. Then you spread your wings a little bit. You get a band, and then you spread your wings a little bit more. You start doing track dates and casting calls, and that led to me being in movies and doing spoken word poetry. And I've had all of this influx of creative energy and experience. And I really do think that I call it the training ground. When I do a keynote or something, I tell people that a lot of their experiences, just like my own, it's the training ground to position you for where you want to go or where you are. And, that's just a little bit of what makes me who I am, and for the most part, how I am. And I'm grateful for those experiences, although they weren't always kind. They weren't always pretty,
Okay. And let me ask now, what area are you from? Are you a native Washingtonian, or did you migrate from another place?
I'm a New Yorker, always. New York for life.
Okay. And you've been here in the DC area now, how long?
About 20 years.
Okay. So you've been enculturated, I'm sure.
No, I'm a New Yorker, man. I just live in DC.
You just live
I'm a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. Home is home.
Well, again, like I said, one of the things that I was amazed, and I've had the pleasure of actually listening in on several of your podcasts
Okay.
And some of the sessions that you do on your Facebook friends, because we are friends.
Right.
And not only have I learned, but also inspired me to kind of dig a little deeper into my aspirations of being a public speaker as well.
Okay.
But can you tell us just a little bit about how did you become interested in doing the public speaking? What was your real motivation behind it?
Well, I think after my addiction, like after I got clean and I relocated, I waited a little while because there's a saying that no matter where you go, there you are. So I didn't want to run from one place to another place, especially because of my addiction or because of anyone or anything. So I waited a little while after I got clean. I stayed in New York, relocated. I got married, relocated, came down here, and basically I tried to live like a regular person. And I realized that, sure, as far as the physical and the biology, yeah, I'm a regular guy, but I'm not a regular guy. There's something greater in me. I wasn't just the kind of guy that's supposed to go to work, come home, kick the dog, and read the newspaper. I'm just not that guy. So after moving here and not doing anything, I waited a few years and I was like, something is freaking missing. And what it was music. And I sort of dabbled in it a little bit. I started doing the jazz circuit. And then I got a business. Excuse me. I started a business. And that exposed me to the world of personal and professional development in a way that I had never been exposed to it before. So what that did was it made me really look at the business side of things and the way people were learning. And I tell people all the time, I met Les Brown. I think I was in California. And I met Les. I did meet him in California, but I was at a conference and I heard him first. And he made this phrase, an affirmation. I heard him speak an affirmation. And the moment those words came out of his mouth, it's like a light bulb went off in my head, just like you see the cartoons. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, at that very moment, that's what I should be doing. Mm-hmm. At multi-level marketing, not any of this other stuff. That's what I should be doing, inspiring, encouraging, and empowering other people to become the best versions of themselves. I got all excited, made up my mind at that very instant, came home and did nothing. So I got a chance to see Les again in a very similar format. I was at a conference and he was the keynote speaker. And I said, okay, this is it. There's a reason that I'm seeing him twice in a short period of time, because normally a person of his caliber, you may see them once and then you may not see them again for a year or something because they're always on the go, always on the road, they're traveling. But I saw him twice in a pretty close period of time. So the second time I came home and I learned, what do you do and how do you become a speaker? Soon after I met my mentor, Dr. Jolly, and that was it. I went to all of his boot camps, bought all of his materials, all of his books. I was a good student and I did everything that he told me to do until I started creating my own programs, creating my own coaching platforms and my own training sessions. And then I started doing it for a lot of government agencies. And from there, it just kept growing and growing. So, speaking is something I realized in the beginning. You're excited because you put on the suit, you look good, you got your teeth clean and your fingernails done and you get the check. And it's like, wow, look at what I can do. But soon thereafter, you realize it's really not about you. It's about who can I add value to? Who can I share through my pain and my joy, how they can become a better version of themselves. And once I looked at it that way, my whole confidence level changed. My desire to do it changed. Everything changed. I started writing books. And so I've got 7 books I've written to date. I have a series now, but there's only 4 that I currently talk about, but I've written 7 in total. And, we're really excited about the things that we're doing here at SCC Inc.
Oh, wow. Now, while we're on the subject of books, do you have any of them right there? You could just kind of flash out and tell a little bit about the content of them?
Sure. I think, let me show you real quick. I got to get that maid to clean up around here. She doesn't do a good job. Here is the book series. It's called the Radiate the Brain book series. Each book has a focus on mindset, but from different perspectives. For example, what's so hard about being you? This book focuses on the things that we do that get in our own way, how we mess ourselves up in pursuit of whatever the goal may be. And then we've got, this is one of the most popular ones, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game. This deals with the things that happen to you that normally are not your focus or your fault. And I'm talking about things like mistakes, risk, fear, the need of acceptance, and all the books are written as a personal resource, which means that it gives you the opportunity of reading the book, answering the questions right directly in the book, and it becomes like your own Bible, if you will, something that is a record that specifically relates to you, the individual. And then we've got Aligned by Design, linked into your legacy. Are you in the field that you're supposed to? Are you where you're supposed to flourish? And again, we talk about critical in-depth analysis. How do you research? How do you really scrutinize yourself? How do you become that one person that realizes that, okay, I can course correct without, having outside intervention? Because sometimes, even if you have a coach is not going to be there 24 hours a day. So you have to be able to identify your own personality traits, the successes as well as the failures. And then finally, I've got After the Diagnosis, which is, the full title is After the Diagnosis, From Crack to Cancer to Cured. How do you support those who support you, the family members? And it's filled with resources on encounter groups, support groups, and again, each book will question you, and it becomes your own personal resource so that you can put the answers in the book that relate to you, the individual. And, there's something about writing in your own handwriting, things that you think. When you're learning and you're writing in your own handwriting, the lesson lasts longer. When you're sharing things that, just your own thoughts, you realize sometimes how profound your own thinking is, even when you don't plan for it to be or expect it to be. So this is a really good book series, and hopefully by the end of the year or the top of 2022, I will be able to complete the book series, the Radiate the Brain and Change the Game book series.
That sounds like it's mighty, mighty powerful. And before it's all said and done, I'm going to have to order set up, because it sounds like some not only interesting reading, but also some very helpful reading if you are one that's interested in improving yourself,
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
And most of them come with either a workbook or a DVD or an audio program. But they're all available on the Wordsmith Speakers Alliance site if you want to go there and check them out.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Now, in what you're doing, are you affiliated with any other organizations or groups that you are involved with that not only follow you, but use the methodology that you are working with right now in schools or on jobs or businesses?
Well, a lot of government agencies that I've spoken for, they've just bought the books in bulk, and I'm grateful for that as well. It's always a good day when you look in your account and you go, uh-oh, something's wrong with my account, and it's because you got more money than was there the day before, so that's always a plus. But a lot of government agencies, they want their employees to have these books for their own thinking and for their own training and mindset. So that's what I usually do. Most of my clients have been through government agencies, some Fortune companies, and some private companies as well.
That's excellent. Like I said, again, like I said, I'm just reminded how we've actually physically crossed paths, and really intrigued by not only your professionalism, but the way that you have kind of put it all together. Like I said, I had no idea of your history, but with that in consideration, it's just amazing what a person can do when you really put your mind to it.
Yeah,
all of us come from different backgrounds, but
yeah,
it's amazing. And I just got to take my hat off to you, and salute you, because really I think you're setting a great example of what you can do when you commit to it.
Well, I'm grateful, because I know that there are a lot of people I came up with that are no longer here. And believe it or not, when I'm on some of those stages and I share my story with these corporate executives and people of high status, I have been asked, why do you talk about that stuff? And people are like, don't do it. Don't talk about the drugs. I'm like, look, if you want to help people, it helps to be transparent. Now, I realize that some people, it may be upsetting, it may be shocking, but this is a truth. It's not something I'm reaching for and I'm fabricating. I'm speaking my own experience. And if I've done and come through those experiences, those life challenges, and I'm doing the things that I'm doing, your company is paying me thousands of dollars to teach and to speak and to pour into you. What can you not do? Mm-hmm. You got to have the will to win.
All right. Now, as far as your plans currently, what kind of projects are you working? I know you told me you had something in the making along in the music. Would you be kind enough to share that with us right now?
Yeah, music has always been a part of my life. And unfortunately, a few years ago, my guitar player, my lead guitar player, passed on. And some of the rest of the band, we see each other in passing here and there. And I decided to get the guys together and see, can we make one last go of it, And
that's right.
I said, look, I'll fly into whatever city if we can all get together and come on the same accord. And they said, yo, that actually sounds like a good idea. So in the meantime, we're doing a documentary on the best band you've never heard. And that's also what it's called. And we'll be debuting those stories and, those experiences and some of the different people that we've met along the way. And after that, maybe we will get together and do a CD or something like that. But as an individual, I'm also currently working on a project. Hopefully by September, it'll be ready for debut. And this will be my third project that I executive produced. And I have a couple of collaborations, a couple other people writing with me. Excuse me. And so I'm excited about it. A good combination of today's sound, a little soul, a little hip hop, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And, look, it's in me. I got to get it out.
Well, I'm sorry you have the same affliction I do. Music is in my soul. And that's how I arrived at even the handle of the music ambassador, because it's an intimate part of all that I do.
Yeah.
And we know that music is a life force that makes a significant difference. I mean, when you take your music, sometimes just humming a good song can change your whole spirit for the day.
Oh, yeah.
Even though things might be kind of glum, you can hum or remember a great song that was kind of inspiring, and before you know it, you feel a lot better. But let me ask now.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, I think also it's therapeutic. I mean, those that are creative, artistic, especially, some don't explore it, and I think if they're in a bad space, it gets worse when you don't explore the art that's in you. So if you are exploring it, whether it's being monetized or not, it's therapeutic. It can help you or help heal you when you're in those dark places.
Wow. Now, for young people, because again, like I said, both of us have crossed the 40-year-old mark, and some
not me.
Beyond it.
Not me.
And not yet, huh? I didn't say in spirit now. But Just looking back, I have kids, I have grandkids at this point. I even got a couple of great grandkids.
Okay.
But, just looking back and reaching back, how do you see, or what things are you involved in right now to put put something positive on the minds of young people? What are you doing? What are some of the things you're involved in?
I think it all does that. I mean, if you have a young person with a certain intellect and they want to share their message, or they have a certain talent and ability and they feel that, that should be shared amongst their generation, their race of people, whichever it may be, speaking is a very viable platform to share that message. And to become a professional speaker, as I have, I don't take it for granted. I am very grateful. Every time I do it, I look at it as a responsibility, because I have the opportunity of sharing something that's been poured into me, not just the process. The process is what's been poured into me. What God has put inside of me is the actual message. So when I take the process and the message and I share that, those young folks, they can do the same thing. If they can learn from, those experiences that I have and how I do it. I have a workshop. It's called Tell Your Story, Live Your Story, Be Your Story. And it's really about cultivating your speaking talent and about becoming an author, a published author. And there are programs like that can help people really become a little more proficient with something that they're deeply passionate about. And on the flip side, with music, let's face it, young people are really just indoctrinated in music. They're just, sort of hypnotized with music. And I understand because when I was a young guy or younger guy, I was the same way. I would go to the record store just to read the credits, see who is on whose album, courtesy of Motown, courtesy of Warner Brothers, who's playing in the studio, who's the featured vocalist. When I got, for example, excuse me again, Songs in the Key of Life. If you read the credits on Songs in the Key of Life, it's amazing how many label mates and people from other labels are on that one Stevie Wonder LP. Now, granted, it's a double album and there's a small 45, so there's a lot of musicians and singers and background vocalists and all that. But the point is, young people today are really into music. And if I am able to still do music myself at this point, I hope that I'm setting an example to let them know you can do it too. Don't let anything hold you back. And another thing is, don't allow yourself to be cornered or positioned in one corner. Do as much as you can, but do it in the order that it makes sense. Whatever the priorities are, focus on that. Whatever's secondary, then you attack or you allow that to be attracted to you. So I think that's one way of being an example for this next generation so that they know they can do it as well.
Absolutely. And like I said, for myself, much like yourself, that is part of the mission. Like I said, I've further extended mine. I actually created a nonprofit organization, the Black Music Awareness Foundation Incorporated, where we are intimately involved in preserving the Black music history and legacies. And that's something I'll have to introduce you to, because I'm sure that's something that'll fascinate you too. We might be able to pull you in to do some things like that. But before I go any further, I do want to let you know that I'll probably be in touch with you again soon to have you be a part of some of the panels that we're putting together, where we're studying and talking about some of the issues of, say, young Black males and the Black community, things that we really can relate to, and how through, like I said, through what we're talking, learning how to vocalize, and establish your voice through speech or through music or through your arts or whatever gift God has blessed you with, how you can make a difference. And that's the thing that we're concerned with, what we can do to reach these people. Now, before we get out of here, because it's coming down close to the closing time now, would you be kind enough to share with the audience your contact information? Because somebody wants to get some copies of those books. Somebody may be interested in having you to speak at a church or a function or even engage you to mentor and help groups in their businesses and stuff like that.
Sure,
so would
sure.
you be kind enough to give us that?
Sure. On social media, which is for me is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, everything is /Sir Charles Cary. Cary is spelled Cary. So everything is Sir Charles Cary on those 4 platforms. As far as the websites, if you're interested in the books, you can go directly to wordsmithspeakersalliance.com. That's wordsmithspeakersalliance.com. You will not only find my books there, but many of my colleagues, they're also authors and they speak on different topics. So if you're interested in personal and professional development, you can find their books as well as my own on that website. For speaking and doing an engagement of some sort, you can contact me there, but I'm going to give you the direct official website, which is sircharlescaryinc.com. sircharlescaryinc.com.
Well, look, before I go any further, I want to thank you for, first of all, committing your time and energy and all your knowledge and everything to being a part of the Royal Height of Music podcast. And our theme is taking our music to the world. And as I explain to my audience all the time, music to me has different connotations. Mm-hmm. Music can be the literal instrumentation, the vocalization, but the music of a person's life is whatever it is that they do that contributes to the welfare of making the world a better place. So one person's music might be something artistic. They might be an artist. They might be an inventor. But whatever it is, we are interested in taking the music that makes life to make it a better place, to make this whole thing a better place so that people don't have to go through all the bumps and bruises that many of us have. But, by learning from other people, being mentors, being shown just what we can do.
You got to keep on dancing.
Keep it moving. I mean, you have to keep the music playing. You have to keep the record on the needle and keep it going. Right now, I just want to say to all my audience, you've heard Mr. Sir Charles Cary. He's, an awesome speaker, a writer. He's also one who was encouraged and been around, been through a lot, but he's got a lot to offer. We would ask your support. And again, also we're asking you support of the Royal Height of Music podcast. We always remind you that if you'd like to contribute to our ongoing process of growing, you can donate, and you can do that if you go to Royal Height TMA. That's on Cash App if you'd like to make a donation. Also, again, we can be contacted. All of our podcasts are usually aired on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. And you can go to our website or on Facebook to see it. And the website address is venrorecords.com, and that's spelled VENRO, records with an S, RECORDS.com. Or if you'd like to call, if you have a question or you missed some of the information, call us directly at area code 240-606-9742. Again, that's 240-606-9742. But before we put a period at the end of all this great stuff we're doing, Mr. Cary, Sir Charles Cary, would you be kind enough to share just maybe a few words of inspiration to our audience before we bring all this to a close?
Two things real quick. First thing is, don't let anyone put you in a box. Now, I understand that every industry, every profession has a way of doing things. There are best practices and things of that nature. But if it's in your nature to do multiple things, I believe you should do it. Now, you don't want to do them all at the exact same time. And it is smart to establish yourself in one area before the other, but still cultivate the different talents and gifts that you have. That's number one. Here's number two. I ask my audiences a question before I close out almost every engagement that I speak at, and it's a question. It's a two-part question, and here is the question: what is the thing that you talk about more than anything else, and when you talk about it, you smile inside? I mean, an actual smile comes to your face. Now, you can tell me that's okay, but it's really for you to provide the answer for yourself. Whatever that answer is, I promise you, you may have just met your purpose. And for those of you that didn't get it, I'll say it again. What is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And when you talk about it, you actually smile inside. Whatever that answer is, you may have just met your purpose.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, and Sir Charles Cary, I want to thank you, man, for being my special guest today. Again, I know this podcast is going to get super duper ratings because you've been a super duper guest, and look forward to being with you again and doing some other things with you. And in the future, even inviting you back to be a part of what we're doing again, because I'm sure what you shared today is only a small part of all that you are. So again, thank you so much. And again, ladies and gentlemen, as we sign off, as we do all the time, this is Royal Height, the music ambassador, reminding you that here at the Royal Height of Music podcast, our theme is taking our music to the world. And we invite you to watch every week at 7 p.m. Facebook or on YouTube or even at our website. But please, we ask you to share it, pass the word on, and support all of our guests. And look forward to seeing you again real soon. God bless.